Welcome back, and now we're going to continue our special edition. As you saw, that legendary classic jump shot of Anthony JoJo Hunter. I'm here with Anthony JoJo Hunter in studio along with Jesse Harrison, and now it's our pleasure to be joined by the one, the only Coach Butch McAdams. Coach, and we just saw a picture of JoJo's jump shot when he was at the University of Colorado, and Coach, I called you because I knew JoJo was going to be too humble to talk about his exploits, but for those that don't know, let them know about what an incredible talent JoJo Hunter was in his days at Mackin and University of Maryland in Colorado.
Well, first of all, I'm so honored to be on a panel with such gentlemen. Three of my favorite guys there. But JoJo Hunter, for my money, and the combination of being a young fan, a player, a coach, and now a commentator, I've watched a lot of ball in the area, and I'm telling you, I have not seen many players better than JoJo Hunter at the high school level. His nickname, and Joe, I don't know whether you even remember this or anyone has said it, but they started calling you the magician because he was just pure magic on the court, and he was the best that ever could do it, as far as I'm concerned.
And Coach, what would his average have been like if he played in the era of the three-point shot?
Anything he wanted to be. I mean, he could have just walked up to the table before the game and just put in what he wanted that night, 35, 40, even 50.
and Coach, we were talking before you got on air. The last segment is that JoJo's out here still doing it. And Jesse, we would talk about you guys. Talk about the league that you guys have and events that you got coming up this Saturday.
Yes, we have an event at Emory Rec Center in Washington, D.C. That's 5701 Georgia Avenue. It's going to be the D.C. All-Stars led by Mr. Hunter, and we're going to play Brian Maggott's Montgomery County All-Stars.
Right. Now, who else is going to be on your squad, JoJo?
I'm not sure. I think Bebe, I'm not sure it was Craig playing, Delonte Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Jesse's going to play. Justin Ellis.
Okay.
So some former players. We're going to have some fun.
Right. And Coach, we were talking about that era, and when I had you on before, that was an incredible era. We've had a lot of eras here in D.C. area, but in the D.C. area, but that era when JoJo and Billy Bryant and all those guys came out, that had to be one of the best.
Well, I've always said that I believe that 1976 was the best year ever for high school basketball in the area. Yesterday on my show, I had Jeff Baxter. And Jeff, who came out, I believe, in the early 80s.
82, he was
82,
my classmate.
Yeah, but he even said that he thought that the 70s were superior to the 80s. It was just a great era of a lot of great players. I love going to those games because the guys don't know. It makes me feel young because first thing I said, if JoJo and those guys are 18 years old, then that means I'm 23 again, and I love it, man. JoJo, I go back and forth, and a lot of people go back and forth on the best player ever to come out of Mackin, and it's JoJo Hunter and Austin Carr 1 and 1A. And I would give the edge, in my opinion, at the high school level to JoJo simply because and JoJo won't admit it, but his junior and senior year, he didn't have a lot of help. He had some guys like Mo Young who were young players who turned into great players, but he had a bunch of good, solid role players. But he did everything. He scored, he defended, he rebounded. He sold hot dogs, he parked cars, he took tickets. He did everything those 2 years.
And JoJo, you were talking about how Ed Myers was one of your early mentors. Talk about some of the other guys that played a role in helping keep you on the right track and how that transitions to you wanting to try to do the same thing for some of the kids coming up now.
Eddie, I would say, rescued me in junior high school to go to Mackin. And I think Mr. Jarrell, who passed away just recently, he was instrumental in helping me to get on the right path. My mom was very much so in my life wanted me to do the right things. You know, so at that time, most kids are filled with uncertainty. You know, and these people were instrumental in my life to help me to go to Mackin, and I found my path at that time, and was rewarded with a scholarship to go to University of Maryland.
Let me say this also, Andrew. JoJo was probably the most humble superstar I've ever known. And I mean, this guy was Mr. Everything, not just in D.C., but across the country. And for some of our younger listeners, this was 1976 now, before the LeBron James and the Kobe Bryants and people going straight from high school to the NBA. The 76ers were in serious negotiations to draft JoJo out of high school. That's how good he was. But through all of it, he was always the same guy. From freshman year to senior year, he never changed.
Right. You might have been humble off the court, Joe, but you had swag before they even called it swag. I remember. And talk about how did you guys used to get in any of the trash talking, or you just answered back with your jump shot?
I was never really a trash talker, but I enjoyed it because it enhanced my play. So.
Now, that's not what Hawkeye said. Hawkeye told me and our listeners, he said, now, JoJo was a trash talker.
Well, I think he said that because it was a great game and we did have a few words, off the court. But I had always said that DeMatha got the calls in high school and Notre Dame got the calls in college. So I trash talked at that time, but not really on the court.
Right. And Coach, one of the things we were talking about beforehand in the first segment was I asked JoJo if Morgan Wooten ever regretted letting JoJo slip through his hands, and if he recalled, Morgan always had a quote-unquote fundamental point guard back in the day, and he had told JoJo he was going to have to bide his time, and a talent like that could not be held back. No,
and once again, JoJo, what was he? I mean, at the high school level, you couldn't define whether he could play basically for positions. But, I never looked at him as a point guard or a two guard or a three. JoJo played all those positions, I believe. His freshman year, he was a point guard. His sophomore year, he played basically the three on that team. So, and as I said, junior, senior year, did everything. I mean, he was the ultimate basketball player, and I can't understate this. And I had a chance to see them all. I have not watched or witnessed anybody better, some as good, anyone better than JoJo Hunter.
Right. And JoJo, as we wrap up, I mean, talk about how you feel, how you're going to take the opportunity, advantage of this blessing to not only utilize the gifts that you can still teach about the game of basketball, but the game of life to the kids that are coming up. It's fine, as we say, use basketball as a dream, but to get you to where you want to go. Talk about how your unique message is going to be able to connect with the young men out there.
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to use my experiences from being incarcerated to teach some of the kids that the path that they take, they can use me as an example to not go down that path. As far as basketball is concerned, I'm working with Ed Myers at the Game Plan Sports, training some kids, and I always tell the kids that it's life after basketball. I was taught manners and what to do in good situations, what to do in bad situations. I think most of the kids today, from what I've seen, I've been here 33 days, the town has changed, the kids are moving in another direction, but we still need a lot of mentors, we need good teachers, we need good people to kind of help the kids, because incarceration is really nothing there, no education, no direction. Your dignity and integrity is attacked every day. And unfortunately, I was able to make it out. So, like I say, God put me here now to be an example. And if I can, come and talk to some schools or teach some kids through basketball, some life skills, that's what I plan to do.
No doubt. And Jesse, talk about how those young people out there can get a chance to see the legend in this day and age playing this Saturday.
Absolutely. You need to know your history, and a lot of the DC folklore is all about this young man right here. And come on out and enjoy the game. We have 2 games, 1 and 2, and we play at 3. The 2 o'clock game is the age group just below us, which features Joe's cousin, Gary Tutu Johnson.
Okay.
All right, and Greg Jones.
Okay.
That'll be a great game.
No doubt.
And as well, we need people to come out and bring this man some job offers.
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things we talked about before. It's like, okay, we got him here. Now we got to make sure that he's out there and stays productive.
Yes.
Yeah, Joe. Well, I just want to thank Coach. Coach, you got any last words you want to share with the viewers
man,
out here?
I just want to let both Jesse and Joe know from the bottom of my heart how much I am so proud of them. Jesse, you have been a true friend and a mentor.
Thank you.
And Joe, we know your true character and what you're about. And now, through the grace of God and the structure, you know what, you're going to reach out and be an asset to this entire community.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach. Thanks, Jesse and JoJo. So glad to have you.
It's a pleasure.
And again, keep up the great work. All right, that's going to do it for this edition, the special edition. I know you enjoyed it. It was informative and action-packed. And you can look forward for more discussion of the late-season action for the WNBA, off-season action for the NBA, special features, and interviews with the players and coaches from the high school, college, and professional basketball teams in the metropolitan area on future shows. And remember, what's happening on the court will definitely be around the ball. And for all of your aspiring basketball stars out there, don't ever forget that focusing on your education is the first step towards making your hoop dreams come true. So until next time, from our co-host, Chris Scott, I'm Andrew Dyer for the Roundball Report. Good night.